Hey y'all, it's Timil, and today is Women Wednesdays, and I'm going to be joined by Gwen Jimmere. And Gwen is the first Black woman to ever obtain a patent for a hair care product, which is amazing. The name of her company is Naturalicious, and obviously, as a natural, I'm pretty excited to learn more about her company and her products. I wouldn't call myself a product junkie, but I'm definitely always, on the look for new products to see what's going to work. So I'm very excited to talk to her about that. About how she launched a business. So stay tuned and I hope you'll enjoy the interview. Thanks. I'm very excited to have you with me. Tell me a little bit about your professional background and what you were doing before you started your company.
So before I started Naturalicious, I was actually the global digital marketing director for Ford Motor Company. So I had a really nice cushy job, very great pay, decent, pretty good benefits, the whole nine, corporate car, corporate credit card, the whole thing. And I did that for a while. And I subsequently ended up getting laid off as they were going through a restructuring about 30 days before my divorce was final. I was going through divorce at the time.
Wow.
And so I did that for quite a while up until that point. So I loved what I did. But I always say in my life, I need two tenets. And those tenets for my life are happiness and freedom. Mm-hmm. And I loved what I did. So I had the happiness. I loved advertising. It was like a real jolt of adrenaline for me to work on an advertising campaign and then see it on TV. But I didn't have the freedom. I was on call all the time. I mean, I was literally tethered to my job. I had the BlackBerry, and it sounds really sexy and cool to say, oh, you have the corporate vehicle and the corporate credit card and you travel up, but it's there was no freedom basically. And so because I didn't have both of those things, not just one or the other, I really wasn't as happy as I really wanted to be.
Sure. You didn't feel complete. I imagine if that was something that you knew that you wanted and you knew that you felt, that you had to have, for true happiness. And so like you said, you were going through a divorce and then practically at the same time, that's when you lost your job?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, it was 30 days from each other when my divorce was final versus when I got laid off. And I don't think my job knew I was getting laid off. I mean, my job knew I was getting laid off. I don't think my job knew that I was going through the divorce. But it ended up being a real blessing because I really had almost this new outlook, this new opportunity to, I didn't have the man anymore. That was a relationship I needed to get out of. I didn't have the job anymore, which didn't provide me with the freedom that I needed to really thrive in this life. And when I got laid off, I remember texting my friend and I said, I just got let go, smiley face. And she was like, smiley face? And I was like, yeah. She's like, let's go to lunch. And so I tried to pay for the lunch. She's like, girl, you ain't got no money. You got laid off. I got this, So, but I really didn't have any money. I had $32 in the bank.
Wow.
Because although, I had this, nice job, I mean, I was paying for a divorce and I was the breadwinner. So I was pretty much paying the bulk of the lawyer fees. And it was just it seemed like it was a really bad situation, but I was really optimistic. And I had been praying to God for a while to give me a clear and convincing sign as to when he wanted me to pursue my hobby, which was Naturalicious, full time. I don't do well with subtleties, and God knows this. So when I say clear and convincing, I don't know what's more clear or convincing than not having a job, not having any money,
boom, here you go, Gwen. Yeah, this is your sign. Oh yeah.
Exactly. It was okay, sweetheart, it's time, and that was the time. And so I just viewed that situation rather than it being oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I have a 2-year-old right now and I have $32 and all my family lives 3 hours away. Instead, I was I just got to make this work. And that's what I did. I just worked and worked so that Naturalicious would work because there was no plan B for me.
Right. And I think sometimes when you have no other options, that's almost the best fuel, to make something happen. And so one thing I did want to know is, did you already have plans for Naturalicious? So it was a hobby. So tell me about how you used your professional background and the knowledge that you had and the skills you had in advertising to launch it into, a profit and a revenue generating business.
Sure. Well, I already had a website up. So I was already kind of selling products, but it was really more or less to my friends and family and friends of friends, that sort of thing. I really wasn't I didn't have the time, honestly, to really market it like I wanted to. But luckily, when I worked at my job at Ford, I worked right under a gentleman who was pretty much a rock star in digital marketing. I came in at a time when the auto industry was on the downturn, and Ford was amongst the big three automakers, and Ford was the only one that didn't take the buyout. So they were really trying hard to remind the general public that, hey, we're different than GM and Chrysler. We didn't take the buyout. You can still trust us. And on top of that, changing the perception of the way the vehicles were perceived in the marketplace. So prior to my coming on, it was Ford stood for found on the road dead. It's what a lot of people would say. And so they were trying to not only separate themselves from the other two automakers, but also show that they were different than them and that the cars were of quality. They were amazing. They had like the new Ford Taurus had come out and it was really, really sleek and fancy looking and all that. So I learned a lot about how to be a big company but come across as a small company to the consumer, working in an environment where pretty much the budget was unlimited for marketing. And although the budget was limited, my VP, who I reported to, was very strict on the budget. So in the moment, it may have seemed like, oh my gosh, he's such a hard ass, you know. But to be honest,
you learned from that. You learned from that.
It really helped me to know that, okay, when you have this huge budget, you know, you can tap into it if you need to, but you know, we're gonna limit what you have. And so we're gonna do this like almost like on a grassroots level. And at that time, Ford was the first company or one of the first companies to utilize social media to connect with consumers. So people in general were using it to connect with each other, such as Facebook and things like that. But as far as a company actually tapping into the social media arena and using that to meet with customers and form relationships, there weren't any companies doing that. And when I came along, once I came along, should I say, Ford was kind of known as being the case study of how you take a big, you know, Fortune 10 company and position it so that consumers relate to it, and it helps to in turn obviously convert to sales. So I had that real world education, never thinking in a million years that, you know, I was going to start my company and I would need that. But when I got laid off and I only had $32 in the bank, that is exactly what I relied on, because I knew how to market on a shoestring budget.
Right. And I always call it, you know, guerrilla marketing, right? Like,
yes,
you have to get in the trenches, you know, and it's really important because you learn more strategically how to advertise. You have to know your customer. So tell me a little bit about the process of getting the patent, because that's what you're known for. That's what got me so excited to want to talk to you, is that you are the first Black woman to obtain a patent for a hair care product. What product was that you got patented?
Sure. So that product is our Moroccan Rasoul 5-in-1 clay treatment. So that product is and I don't have it sitting here with me, but it's a cleanser. It's basically what it is. It works as a cleanser, it's a conditioner, a deep conditioner, a leave-in conditioner, and a detangler all in one product. So rather than
real arena stuff.
Exactly. So rather than you having to, you know, buy a cleanser or shampoo, rinse that out, a deep conditioner, rinse that out, you know, all the stuff that goes along with having to do your hair on wash day, it's like one shot in a bottle. You put it on your hair, rinse it out, massage it through, you're done. That's it, you know. And when I came up with this, I really came up with this purely out of necessity for myself. But when I came up with this product, I gave it to my mom. And my mom is not one of those moms that, you know, will just co-sign on anything, just any and everything that I do. You know, if it's not the business, she would be like, she'll give me that look like you need to try something else. And she didn't give me that look. She was like, this is amazing.
Wow.
You know? And so I was like, wow, because if my mom liked it, because other people will, you know, oh yeah, that's nice, Gwen, you know, but my mom is a straight shooter. So when she liked it, I knew I was onto something. And she just kept pressing me. Like every time we would talk, she would say, you should really get a patent on this product. Now, my mom doesn't know a whole lot about patents and trademarks and that kind of thing, but she was like, you need to protect this. And I'm like,
special.
Yeah. And I'm like, Ma, you can't get a patent on a hair product. She's like, how do you know? You haven't even tried. And I'm like, I really don't think that you can, because I didn't know of anybody who had a patent on a hair product other than like, you know, I heard that Madam C.J. Walker had a patent on one, but that was like for a straightening comb or something that I had heard at the time. Now I know that she didn't even invent the straightening comb, but she was an amazing woman nevertheless. and invented so many other things. But that's what I thought. I was like, okay, that's the only thing I can relate to. A lot of times, if you can't see it and you don't know about it, you don't think it's possible. And so my mom was just really kind of in my ear about it. And I was like, let me just try, just to get her to, be quiet. So let me just see if I can figure out this is possible. So I started calling around, talked to a lot of attorneys, patent attorneys, and realized it was somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000 for a patent attorney to just file a patent for me. And I was like, it's a lot of money, And I had applied for trademarks on my own, and I had received several. I have several trademarks that I did on my own. I was like, well, if I did that on my own, maybe I can learn how to do a patent, And I found out very quickly that the process for applying for a patent is a lot different than a trademark. A trademark I can do in 20 minutes,
right.
For it. A patent, it took me 6 months just to learn patent law and really prepare myself for applying, because the fees are much higher when you apply for a patent. And if you apply and you don't get the patent, you don't get your money back. So I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing before I did it. And I'm very, very glad that I went through that learning process and I learned all that stuff. And, I'm very much more knowledgeable about it than I would have been had I just had an attorney do it. And obviously I saved a lot of money. I think I ended up paying for everything all in about $2,000. Whereas with the patent attorney, I would have spent $10,000 to $20,000.
Right. Wow. And that's powerful. I mean, and that's probably just your story in general, is just having the audacity, to try and do something yourself. So I, admire you for that. Now, obviously, the natural hair care business has a lot of players. So you don't have to have a patent necessarily to get in business,
Correct.
So tell me why you felt like it was important, and does it separate you, I guess I would say, from your competitors?
Sure. So the patent for me was important because I had really invented something that hadn't been created before. So with my company, Naturalicious, we have a mission of creating things that enhance your life. Like, we have no desire to just create another shampoo or another conditioner or another leave-in or what have you. It has to be something that really has an excellent utility for you. It has to enhance or change your life in some sort of way. So creating a product that can cleanse, condition, deep condition, leave in, and detangle all at once, and you're not sacrificing healthy ingredients in the process, and the same product works for you, your man or your wife or whoever, and your kids, that's amazing, right? So it's like every pain point of dealing with your hair, especially natural hair, has been resolved in this one product. And so that was really what I wanted to protect, pretty much, because we all know there's a lot of kitchen beauticians, as I call them. They create stuff, or kitchen chemists too, and they create stuff, and it's amazing, and it works, and they're passed down for centuries in our families, but we don't own a whole lot as a community. We are the creators. We create fads and trends and all sorts of stuff, and then others
co-signed and appropriated.
Exactly, and then others come along, and they monetize what we've done. And I was just talking to someone about this. A lot of us, we don't realize that we have somewhat of a poverty mindset, right? Instead of a wealth mindset, right? And it's not any fault of our own. It's just something that we haven't really been taught, And so I felt that it would be beneficial for me to protect my invention, because I didn't want to create something and spend all this time and money working on it for some big company to come along and be like, oh, they're making moves in this space. We're going to take what they did and knock it off and sell it for cheaper, Mm-hmm. So it's really about protecting myself. And really, that was my mom's thing. She was like, Gwen, somebody else is going to come along and steal this. I'm telling you, you better figure out how to do this. And once she kind of got me thinking about, she's like, she was like, you're going to be at home twiddling your thumbs, watching the commercial.
And your product is going to be on TV.
Right. They're going to have your stuff on TV, and they're going to be selling like wild cakes. And I was like,
be mad.
Right. She's like, you're going to be mad. That's the only thing you're going to be able to do. You're not going to be able to take them to court. You're not going to be able to do anything because you didn't protect yourself. And I was like, that's true. And I did not want to be sitting at home twiddling my thumbs looking at that commercial. So I decided that I was going to apply. And I mean, yes, I'm the first African-American woman to own a patent on a natural hair care product, but I don't want to be the only one. I really don't. It kind of surprised me. Like, I didn't set out to be the first. It just happened, I would love to be able to say, here's all my sisters, and we're all, we all have patents, and we're all building generational wealth, and we're all making sure that our creations are protected. Like literally, like I call it like jokingly, like owning our beauty. Like we're literally owning what we've created, So I would love that. And as much as I can help, others navigate that patent process, I'm more than happy to.
Great. And that's good to hear. And that's really what this show is about, is you being able to show other women what's possible, and that it can be done. And it's about community. And speaking of community, you are out of Detroit. And just like the car industry went boom, the economy kind of went boom, and a lot of communities in Detroit were affected. So you are actually based out of Detroit, and your product is made in Detroit. And so tell me a little bit about what that's meant for you, to kind of be a part of the resurgence of Detroit and Detroit's economy.
Sure. Well, Detroit is, like you said, there is a resurgence going on. I found myself being what I call the Detroit defender for years, because I would go out of town and I travel a lot for my business, and people would say, "Where are you from?" And I'll say Detroit, and they say, "Oh," and I'm just like, "No, it's not like that." I was always kind of saying, what you see on TV is really not the full story. And I was always defending the city. And now that Detroit is kind of on this rise again, I don't find myself having to defend it as much, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's really amazing. I mean, I'm able to provide jobs here in the city. We have some people who work virtually elsewhere, but in the city, as far as our product being made, it's amazing to be able to have someone who's from the city make the product that's sold in the city and elsewhere too. I mean, Detroit has been amazing for my business. Our very first retailer was Whole Foods, and it was Detroit Whole Foods. They were the first ones to take a real chance on us, like a known name to take a chance on us. And we didn't have any sales at the time. The packaging was real basic. It was not what it looks like now. It was just not that great. And so they took a chance, and to be able to have employ other people to continue that it's just really awesome.
Tell me about Pitch Proof, and how you're helping entrepreneurs, to package themselves better to get access to capital, because obviously that is a big issue when we have these ideas and we want to start these businesses, but we don't have access to the financial resources needed to, maybe get proper packaging, or not that it has to be the best, but it has to be something. So tell me about that venture.
So the answer is twofold as far as getting money to build your business. So one thing is that I find that a lot of people, they limit themselves and they feel like they can't start their businesses until they get funding. That is completely untrue. It doesn't take a lot of money to throw a website up. And when I say throw a website up, I don't mean have it look like crap. I mean, just to put a website up. You can get a really quality, great looking website for not a lot of money. But I talk to a lot of people and they're like, well, I feel like I got to get a trademark before I get started. Like, stop putting limits on what you can do. Start where you are and work with what you've got. If you have enough money to start a website, which can cost you less than $50, do that first. And then if you need to get a trademark, do all that stuff later, but just start somewhere. As far as funding and what Pitch Proof does, we really train entrepreneurs how to enter and win pitch competitions so that they can grow their businesses and they can get money to fund their businesses. The thing is that statistics show that the majority of women and minority-owned businesses go into personal debt to fund their businesses, as opposed to entering and winning pitch competitions or getting investors or that sort of thing. So they're taking on credit card debt, they're taking on home equity lines of credit, they're tapping into the kids' college fund, they're doing all sorts of stuff to get money to grow their business. And that's just really not necessary in this day and age. There are so many business pitch competitions that are out there that range the funding can range from $5,000 all the way up to $250,000. And all you have to do is be able to sell yourself and sell your business. This is not like Shark Tank where they're taking equity out of your business. They're literally just giving you money based upon you convincing them that your business is worth it and that it's scalable. You basically need to convince them that if they give you this money, your business is going to thrive enough so that you can utilize that money that they give you for whatever you need, and it can grow and ideally help the economy in the local area for some sort of benefit, right? There are local pitch competitions and there are national pitch competitions. We have a number of clients who have come in with like their pitches just being kind of like, man, I'm so glad you came to us first. And then they've gone on to win. I mean, we had one of our first clients, he entered his very first pitch competition at the National Urban League Conference. So a national conference, and he won. Not only did he win the pitch competition, but he beat out other people who had won other pitch competitions before. So it's really an art and a skill to learn how to properly pitch your business, because it's really just selling. Because if you're not selling your product and your service, you're selling your business viability to someone who has the means to give you the money. A lot of times these pitch competitions are sponsored by large corporations such as Target or like a Walmart or Best Buy or whomever. They're sponsored by these companies, and it's to their benefit to give you the money, because it comes, it shows that they're into diversity or women-owned businesses or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So it helps them, it helps the conference because it gets people to come to the conference, and it helps you because now you have money to build your business. We also teach people, even if you don't win, because there's a number of variables that can go into whether you win or not, right? But even if you don't win, how do you leverage that loss into a win? For example, we had one young lady who came in second in a pitch competition, and but Walmart was the sponsor. She ended up getting a $250,000 purchase order from Walmart because Walmart was in the room when she pitched, and they loved her idea. Even though she didn't win the $10,000 prize, she got a $250,000 purchase order. So who cares about the $10,000 prize? You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, how do you turn that loss into a win? So we teach you all those skills. And then the last thing that we teach is how to attract equity investments. That's a whole different skill set. It's a pretty much like a higher level skill set. But if you're not looking to give away equity, then we teach you just how to enter these pitch competitions. There's people who have people on their team. If you have like a business and you have a team, there's oftentimes those companies will have one person that is excellent at pitching, and that person will pitch they'll just spend their entire year pitching. That's their job, is to pitch for funding. And they get paid to pitch for funding. A lot of us, we don't have the luxury of having someone on our team to do that. So, because we're just doing it by ourselves. So we have to learn ourselves how to properly pitch. And that's what we teach. And that's not something that's taught. You can't learn that in college. You can't learn that in high school. You can't learn that anywhere. And there's a lot of businesses, they don't even know that these things exist, let alone how to enter them, So that's really what we teach.
Right. And my first job was a sales job, a commission-only sales job. And that skill can get you so far, and it cannot be taught. So I just think that that's amazing, because as an entrepreneur, you really always have to be selling, because, whoever you're in front of, it's always an opportunity. So exactly. I think that's so valuable. And just finally, before we go, tell me a little bit about what we can expect when we shop at Naturalicious.
Sure. Well, I'm so proud of Naturalicious because, like I said, everything that we create has to have some sort of amazing life enhancement quality for you. We really see ourselves as a beauty innovation company as opposed to being just a hair care company. Our flagship product, our number one seller, is the product that I have a patent on, which is our Moroccan Russell 5-in-1 clay treatment. That product comes in a kit, and that entire kit is called the Ooh La Locks hair care system. If you buy the Ooh La Locks hair care system, it's $49.99, and it does the work of 13 products in only 4 steps. So rather than you spending your entire wash day like with products sprawled across your countertop and you spending all this money, it's $49.99 for 4 products. Now, those 4 products do the work of 13 products in just 4 steps. So our product line saves you over 80% of the time you normally spend and over 60% of the money you normally spend. Most people are done with their entire wash day in about 20 minutes as opposed to wash day, like all day long. So that's amazing. If you go to our website, which is naturalicious.net, www.naturalicious.net, the first thing that you'll see is a young lady with amazing hair holding our products. And you just click on her image. It says, click here to choose what you want. You click there, and it'll take you to a page where you can select your hair type. So we really see ourselves as like creating almost like a funnel for you to kind of get in and get exactly what you need, as opposed to you just kind of being like, what am I supposed to be doing on this website? So you go to the website and you can select your hair type. So you, Timil, you would be curly wavy. Me, I'm kinky coily, right? So kinky coily is for people who have more coarse hair. Curly wavy is for people who have more fine textured hair. Sometimes people are like, well, I don't really know what hair type I fall into. So here's what we say. Look at your edges. If your edges lay down nicely without a lot of product, maybe with just some water or something like Chili from TLC, then you have curly wavy hair. Everybody knows about Chili's baby hair, right? So if you guys baby hair like Chili,
yes,
then you're curly wavy. If you do not have baby hair like Chili, then you are kinky coily like myself. So so all of our products are available for both hair types, and we have separated them into two unique hair types for a very specific reason. Most products, they say they're for all hair types, but they're not for all hair types. I mean, anybody who's used the all hair type product can tell you something that they use definitely was not for them, you know. And so we separated them because people who have a finer texture of hair, they can't have products that are real heavy. They're going to weigh their hair down. They're going to walk around looking like a wet dog. It's crazy. People who have coarse hair like myself, if your products are not thick enough, they can't penetrate your hair. They can't adequately moisturize. And so you still have dry, breaking hair despite doing all the stuff that you should be doing. So that's why this broken up into those two different sections. So you pick whichever product line you want, and it shows you all the products we have for that line. It's very easy to navigate, very simple website. We even have a live chat on our website. There are people available up until midnight every single night, available to talk to you on our website. Through live chat and over the phone as well. So we have excellent customer service. We ship out the next day. Like, if it wasn't my company, I would be buying there.
and also, what my website is all about is curating resources and tools to make our lives easier and more effective. That's like my thing. So I am so happy, that you were able to join me today. Everybody go to naturalicious.net and make sure you follow them on all of your social media so that you can stay tuned for any discounts or specials or any sales that are going on. So thank you so much, Gwen Jimmere, for joining me on Women Wednesdays.
Thank you. And then one more thing. If you do go to our website, the first thing you'll see is a pop-up that asks you to sign up for our email list. If you do that, you will be able to have access to all the stuff you just mentioned, and you'll get $5 off your purchase. In addition to that, I didn't mention our guarantee. So we have this unmatched, amazing guarantee. Our guarantee is that you will absolutely love our products. You have 60 full days to use the products. Doesn't matter if you use a little bit or a lot. If you don't love it, return it. We will not only refund your money, 100% of your money, but we will also buy you a competitor's product to replace what you returned. So it's absolutely no risk. There's no reason not to try it.
All right. Well, you see that, everybody. It's free, so be sure and try it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.